Hello students, and you're welcome to our letter writing lesson, and this is Informal Letter Part 2. Remember, we have done the first lesson and we learned a lot about how we go about writing an informal letter. Now the purpose of this lesson is to give you a model. You see an example of an informal letter and you practice when you have your exercise. Well, let us just have a very brief caption or a brief revision on what we have done previously on the first video. And if you carefully followed up the lesson on part 1 of your informal letter writing, we learned the following: that an informal letter, also referred to as a friendly letter or a personal letter, is written to friends and relatives. That an address should be written precisely at the top right hand of the paper. That if the recipient of the letter is in another country, you should include your own country of residence. That the date should be written just below the address. That although there are many ways of starting the salutation, the traditional way there, plus the first name of the recipient, is the most appropriate and generally accepted method of writing the salutation. That the introduction of an informal letter should set the tone of the letter. It should be casual and comforting. The letter in the body should maintain a friendly tone. That the conclusion should sum up your reasons of the letter. That there is no one way to write your sign off, or when I say sign off, I mean the subscript. There is no one way of writing it. You have multiple ways. So that was actually what we learned. For your kind remembrance, this was what we learned on the previous lesson. Now we are going to look at a model of a letter, an informal letter. So like I said, we are going to have a model of an informal letter, and that's the purpose for this particular lesson. We are going to see how we write a letter. We'll build up the letter, putting up the parts that we have learned together, and we form a comprehensive letter. Now let's see. As you have learned that the first aspect is to write the address. Now let's see how we go about writing the address. As you can see, the address is written at the top right hand in case you are asked to write. Remember, I told you that when you're writing a letter, you need to read the prompt. You need to read the instructions. So if the instruction actually asks you to include an address, you go ahead to write the address. Or if the instructions do not ask you at all to include any address, please don't write any address. You go straight to the salutation. So as you can see, Seebeck International High School, all what you've seen there is capitalized. The S, the I, the H, and the S for the first line is all capitalized, followed by a comma, and Salaji with a full stop, April with a comma. Now take note, it is because all the aspects in the address, on the address, all the aspects are proper nouns. The place, like the school, is a proper noun. Salaji is a proper noun. April is a proper noun. So all the words start with a capital letter. So take note of that. Now let's see, after writing the address, what next you need to know. You write your salutation. So let's say your friend is Mariama. You write, "Dear Mariama," followed by a comma. The D is capitalized, and Mariama, of course, a proper noun, starts with a capital letter. Then after writing these, that is the address and the salutation, you move on to write the very first paragraph, and we call it the introduction. And let's see what is in the introduction. Here I will say, "It's been a while I have heard from you. Where have you been? I hope this letter finds you in the best of health. So you see, there is an aspect of informality. I use contractions, I ask questions, and I inquire of the health of the person I'm writing to. So that makes it an informal letter. Mind you, all of these should be captured. The informality should be captured. If it is not captured, then you miss the format, you miss the language, you miss the style that is needed for you to write an informal letter. Now let's go to the next slide and see the next paragraph that will help us to build our letter. We have just greeted, we have not mentioned anything. Now when you go to the next paragraph, which is the body, the first paragraph that begins the body, you realize that we start to address the prompt. Now after writing your introduction, we now move to the body, and in the body you should relate some amount of informality, and the informality must flow all through in order for you to nip the actual prompt that they ask you to write about. So let's see this example. As summer is approaching, I was thinking if we could spend the holiday together at my place in Brusubi. I'll introduce you to all my friends and close relatives. I'll give you a city tour as well. To add cherry on the cake, the weather here is very pleasant during those days due to sea wind. So this is the second paragraph. I've started addressing the prompt. I've started addressing the main core, the content of the letter. You write in to your friend and you're inviting the friend. And look at how the language is also with the informality. I use contractions, I use colloquial language to add cherry on the cake to make it very interesting. And so this is the way the letter should be. It should flow as from the introduction to the body. When it flows from the introduction to the body, you have all what it takes to write. And when you look at the punctuation, proper punctuation marks, the full stop, the comma in between. And in case you are asking a question, there must be a question mark. These are the simple ones. When I'm doing contractions, I put the apostrophe to indicate the contraction and to also relate informality. So take note of it, it's very important for you to note. Now, before John with our writing of this particular body, we've written body number 1. Now let's write paragraph number 2 under the body. Let's see how it works. Say, I'm excited even at the thought of you and I spending summer together after so long. I have to tell you a lot of things and expect the same from you. Give my regards to your auntie and uncle. So you see the letter itself, the chattiness, the way the language flows, you see the informality. So it must be part of it. And this particular paragraph is building up the previous paragraph, the first body, the paragraph that we have just read. It's building up the content. And after building up the content and you have communicated all what you need to communicate about, you conclude the letter. And let's see how we conclude it. See, very short like this. You can say, hope to see you soon. Very short. Or you can even greet. There are variety, different ways of ending your letter. But this is a very short one because in the letter you don't need to discuss quite a lot of things again. You only go to the point. You have already said everything you have to say. The body. Then after the body, you only conclude like this, short and precisely. Then the last part of the letter is you write your subscript. And the subscript is like this. I choose affectionately, yours affectionately, comma, Marion. Now, take note, when most of the time when you use yours, it goes with the ly, the ly. Take note of it. When you say your, you use your name. That's what we call nominal. Your, the nominal aspect, your son. But affectionately is at the adverbial, yours. It goes with the yours, comma, and we have the full stop. So this is a model of a letter. So if you are asked to write, you have to write all of these parts together. You put your address if you are asked to. You write your salutation correctly. You write an introduction. You write your body, and you end with your conclusion, and you write the subscript. Now let's see the general tips, what the do's and don'ts of an informal letter. The first one says, remain polite no matter how informal your letter is. Do state the purpose of your letter right from the start. Do use simple connecting words to make your writing flow more logically. Start a new paragraph for each new aspect of the topic instead of writing one solid core never-ending paragraph. Very important. Paragraphs are very important. I guess I nip it on the first video. Now let's see the don'ts. Don't overuse exclamation mark even when writing to a friend or a close relative. Don't refrain from using opening and closing remarks to format and frame your letter properly. Don't jump from one thought to the other without a logical general pattern. Try to organize your thoughts. Don't use long, complicated sentences with compound clauses and complex structure. Letter writing in general and informal letter writing in particular are about making it easy for the recipient to understand the idea. So it must not be ambiguous, so much so that the person reading it will not be able to understand. It's just like the normal way you talk to a friend. It's just a matter of you putting it into writing, and the English is standard edited English. So thank you very much for following up this video. Now this is the end, but don't forget to follow up on your WhatsApp page for the notes and Edmodo for your exercise. Take note, the notes, you copy them on your book, but if you can print them out, there is no problem also. But I'm encouraging students to copy them on their notebooks. Then for Edmodo, you go for the exercise. Mind you, on Edmodo, that is where we have to grade you. Thank you very much for your kind attention.